Hey everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tanya and today we are doing another reading vlog. We're going to be reading Caraval this week and I thought it'd just be fun to bring you along with me. Caraval is kind of a fun read for the fall because it has kind of a carnival type atmosphere. So yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun little reading vlog. But before we get into talking about the book, I do have just a few fall things I picked up that I thought I would go ahead and share with you. So the first being, I got these cute little vinyl stickers from Target in the reading section for fall, and they were like $3, so they were super cheap. And I just thought they'd be fun to have around for fall to either stick on my Kindle or on a glass or something like that. So I picked those up. And then I got these pumpkin like faux anthropology glasses, little juice glasses off of Amazon because you know, I love fall and my other fall glasses had kind of died, so I picked up some new ones. So I got those little juice ones, which really I don't use them for juice. I end up using them for coffee or wine or, you know, something like that. And then I got these cute little ones with the straw for iced coffees or iced chais. And yeah, those are kind of my fall purchases that I picked up. And then kind of going along with today's theme, I did get my Book of the Month box. And this month's book, which was an early release, so that was fun, was The Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, who is also the author of Caraval. This is her debut book as an adult. Debut adult book, and it's starts off like in this old movie theater and it's a college course that's being held there for folklore and local urban legends and myths, and there's fantasy elements that go along with it. And if you haven't heard of this book, here's a little bit of the synopsis. Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the Professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, can supposedly tell you when you'll die, the world finally starts to make sense. Except that the Watchman tells her she will die at midnight tomorrow, unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical heart. With the clock ticking, Holland is pulled deeper into this magical world in the heart of Los Angeles and into the path of a magnetic stranger. Everything about him feels like a bad idea, but he promises Holland that her sister sent him to protect her. As they chase clues and stories that take them closer to the alchemical heart, Holland realizes everyone in this intoxicating new world is lying to her, even this stranger. And if she can't figure out whom to trust, not even the alchemical heart will save her. So I thought that sounded really good. You know, kind of an urban fantasy, some magic involved. You got the plot twist of her dying tomorrow at midnight, so it's definitely going to be on a short time frame kind of book. And yeah, I thought this sounded really interesting. And that's kind of all my little haul items. And as far as what we're reading in today's vlog, that is Caraval, also by Stephanie Garber. And this is a young adult fantasy series. And we're following two sisters, Scarlett and Donatella, who basically they have an asshole for a father. He's abusive, he's not kind to them, he goes out of his way to make their lives miserable. And they get this opportunity to go away and compete in this game called Caraval. Scarlett has been writing for like 7 years to try to get them tickets into this game because she's heard about it from her Nana when she was little, and just, you know, it has all these different magical elements and it's something that she's really wanted to do. at this point in her life, when she finally gets the tickets, she's set to get married to a fiance she has never met. But she has high hopes that this fiance is going to help her escape her abusive father, and that she can save herself and her sister by marrying this man, even though she's never met him. She's got some letters and things from him, but quite honestly, it's questionable whether he really exists or what kind of man he is, if he's some sort of old lecher and her father's just set up this deal, or what may be going on there. But Scarlett just is hoping that this is her way out, so she's willing to marry him just for the fact of it will get her away from her father and she can take her sister with them. But she's supposed to marry this count in like 10 days. So then once she finally gets the, the invitation to go to Caraval, she's just not sure that she wants to risk her marriage, which she thinks could be life-changing, in order to follow this childhood dream that she has. Well, she does, through certain things that happen, end up going to Caraval, and her sister get separated. So, she's kind of trying to find her, and I'm about, I don't know, like a quarter of the way through maybe. I'm on page 141, and so far I've really been enjoying this. It doesn't feel too YA at this point, other than the fact that it is a pretty easy read. There hasn't been, anything that seemed overly juvenile or out of place, and the romance has been pretty limited at this point because, she hasn't met her fiance, and there is a potential other love interest, but Scarlett so far has been very, proper and not wanting to do anything that would risk her marriage. So not a lot of romance going on yet, but there's some definite chemistry that Scarlett has building with a sailor that has helped get her and her sister to Caraval. So that's kind of where I am in the story. I will say so far this is my first Stephanie Garber book, and I'm really enjoying her writing style. Everything's very descriptive, and it's just really atmospheric as far as the feel of things once we've reached Caraval, and just the description of how it looks and how it feels, and the different characters that they've met. So I think I'm really going to enjoy Stephanie Garber's writing, and like I said, I'm not too far into it yet, but so far the writing, the plot, the character interaction has all been good. I'm assuming the pacing is going to start to pick up more and more as we make our way through the book. It is kind of a contest or trials. Basically, when you get to Caraval, you have the choice of being a spectator or competing in the games. If you compete in the games and win, then you get a magical wish from Caraval's master, whose name is Legend. So Scarlett is trying to play the game in the hopes of getting this wish. And yeah, that's kind of where we are now. So we'll see how everything plays out. Once I've read a little more, I will come back and give you another update. Alright guys, it is now Tuesday and I just got off work, and I wanted to give you a little reading update from last night. So now I am on page 241 of Caraval, and still really enjoying it. The plot is starting to pick up. We're getting to know our characters a little bit better, and Scarlett's starting to kind of acknowledge that maybe she might actually like Julian, who is our male main character, and there's been a couple of good reveals. Still loving the writing style. It's very atmospheric. You do feel like you're in the middle of this carnival, and kind of like a almost, like you're in a performance with just the different descriptions of what's going on. I also really like just the way that Stephanie Garber kind of describes emotions. Scarlett sees emotions as colors. Now, it hasn't been talked about this being any sort of magical property that she has, or magical gift that she has, but they've mentioned more than once about how she can see different emotions as colors, and is just very descriptive and gave you just a better picture of some of the emotions that were going on, and made you feel those a little bit deeper. Now, whether it'll end up that Scarlet has magic is yet to be determined, like actual magic, but I just kind of enjoy the way that's been described. So still really liking it, and we'll definitely be reading more tonight. I would imagine that we'll finish this either tonight or tomorrow night, but we shall see. Once I do read a little bit more, or choose to do something that may interest you that I can share, I will come back and check in with you. But first, I'm probably gonna have to get this crazy girl a walk. Yes. Alright, so I thought it would be fun to show you guys one of my other hobbies, which is soap making. Besides my full-time job, I own and run a small bath and body business on Etsy called Bella Luna Soapery. And today I'm remaking my orange and calendula soap, and this is a pretty simple soap recipe. So really easy to make, but one of my favorite bars. So basically in here I have oils and butters melted. So cocoa butter, sweet almond oil, olive oil, and a few others. And I infuse some calendula in there, so you might see some flecks of that. Then we take a mixture of lye and water and we pour it in. And you do have to be careful with this because lye is caustic and can burn your skin until it saponifies in the soap, which basically it goes through a chemical change and all the lye is turned into, mixes with the oils and butters, and they turn into soap. So we take a stick blender like this, you stick it in, and you just blend this up for like 10-15 seconds. And I'm sure you can see how the color already changed there. And that is just the lye reacting with the oils and butters in the soap and starting the saponification process. Now, I need to blend that a little more, but next we're gonna add our orange essential oil and just pour that in. And this particular soap is colored all by the oils and butters and the orange essential oil. So it comes out a really nice creamy yellow, kind of a buttery yellow color without adding anything else in. And sorry, I am left-handed here. I'll try to keep the stick blender out of your way. And if I was doing something more elaborate, then that would be like all I would probably blend this, because the more you blend it, the thicker it gets and it gets harder to make designs in it. But as I said, this one's a really simple soap and we're not doing any sort of designs in it. So I'm going to blend it till it's a little bit thicker. And from here, I'm just going to pour it into my mold. Just like that. And then we're gonna let it set up a little bit more, and then we'll do a design on the tie. So I'm not sure where that cut out, but I textured the top using my spoon. Then I did a little spritz of mica on the top. And then I let this set up for 18 to 24 hours, and then I pop it out of the mold and cut it into bars. So tomorrow, once it's ready, I'll pop it out of the mold and I'll show you what it looks like at that point. All right, my friends, so I have a reading update for you, and then I also thought I would show you how the loaf of soap came out. So as you can see, it is now solid. It is safe to use as soap. Within 24 to 48 hours, it finishes its saponification process. Typically, you let handmade soap set for around 4 weeks or so, just so that it hardens up more and it lasts longer. But that is the process of soap making. And at this point, with it is you cut it into bars. So it's still soft, like I said, at this point, because it still has to set up and reduce the water inside of it. But that is what the bars look like cut. And I just put them on a tray and I let them sit for around 4 weeks before I sell them. And then here's another one. As far as a reading update, I am only about 60 or 70 pages from the end of the book at this point. And where I left off was a horrible place to leave off, because something big had just happened, and it was, you know, a traumatizing thing, but hopefully things will all work out in the end. But I left myself with a bit of a cliffhanger last night. Still really enjoying the book, but still really enjoying the book, and definitely will be finishing it this evening, and then I'll give you kind of my final thoughts on the book. But yeah, I had a busy day at work today, so I could not afford to stay up all night reading. And so I did the mature adult thing and went to bed on time, which meant I didn't get to finish my book. So I've been waiting all day at work impatiently to get to finish. But I did also want to show you how this soap turned out. And then I of course need to get Luna a walk and some dinner, and then we will sit down and read and finish the book. So I'm gonna get this put away, and then I'll come back at you when we are giving our final update on the book. All right, so I just finished Caraval, and I really liked it. It was a 4-star is where I think I'm gonna land with it. And the reason for that is just, you know, it just didn't have kind of a 5-star feel, but it was still just a fun, super enjoyable read. The storytelling in it was great. It was very atmospheric. You definitely got all the vibes of the game and how it had, you know, like a performance aspect to it. And Julian and Scarlett's relationship, I liked the banter there. And it was, for the most part, a very innocent relationship. This book didn't have much spice in it, other than there was kissing. That was basically all of the spice. So just fun, enjoyable, good read. I definitely enjoyed Stephanie Garber's writing style, so I'm looking forward to picking up the rest of this series, as well as I have Alchemy of Secrets on my TBR cart now, which is her first adult fantasy book. So yeah, just really enjoyed her writing and the book overall. And thank you so much for hanging out with me while we read this. I hope maybe if you haven't read this already, this inspires you to give it a try, or just, to pick up whatever your next read may be. So thanks for hanging out. Take care, keep reading, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.